go to Nashville, Tennessee, and bring in Terry McCormick, who's going to talk to us about the drafting of Marcus Mariota and everything else Titan-related, because Terry has been writing about the Titans since 1997. He writes for TitanInsider.com. Terry, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Sure. So, how close did Tennessee come to dealing that number 2 pick and not ending up with Mariota? Any idea?
Not as close as a lot of people speculated. I think once they did their homework on Mariota, I think they felt really comfortable with him as a choice at number 2. I think 3 months ago or 4 months ago, ever how long the process was, I don't think they were completely sold on Marcus Mariota because they weren't sure that he was going to be a match for what they wanted to do because he was coming from Oregon's spread offense. But the further they went through the process, the more they interviewed him, the more they watched film on him, the more they watched him work out, the more he grew on them, and by draft time, they were completely sold.
Do you think, Terry, this is Woody, do you think that Whisenhunt will bring some of his offensive philosophies in the direction of Mariota, or where Mariota has to totally fit himself within Whisenhunt's offensive systems that he's run at Arizona and with the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Well, I think in terms of how they're going to do it, I think initially it will be a mix and it will be a blend of things that Mariota has done well and things that Whisenhunt likes to do that he's comfortable with. I think as you go through this process, and you guys know this, you watched it with, John Elway, out in Denver. When a quarterback first comes into the league, and he likes to run around a little bit, you use some of that to your advantage. But as you grow older in the league, and if Mariota is going to be a franchise quarterback and he's going to play 10 or 12 years or whatever, then he's going to have to grow as a pocket passer over time. And the older you get, the more you stay in the pocket and you make your reads and you throw the football down the field or you throw it away if there's no one open, that sort of thing. But I think initially they will allow him to do some of the things that he's comfortable with, some elements of the spread. But as time goes on, I think they will convert him to more of a pocket passer.
Terry, yesterday we had Doug Allman on. He writes about the Tampa Bay Bucks, and it was very apparent that the Bucks are going to give Jameis Winston the number 1 quarterback job in Tampa. I'll ask you the same thing about Mariota. You've got a decent young quarterback there named Zach Mettenberger that a lot of people like. Is Mariota going to have to compete for the number 1 job, or being the 2nd pick overall in the draft, is it just going to be handed to him?
They're going to hand it to him, and they're already putting his face up on billboards and trying to sell extra season tickets because the season ticket renewal is down a little bit after they went 2-14. They're begging people to renew their season tickets, and Mariota's going to become the face of this franchise. Now, you always run the risk that if you go into preseason and he falters and Zach Mettenberger looks like the second coming of Dan Marino, that it can backfire on you. But right now the plan is for Marcus Mariota to be their guy.
Well, there was talk immediately after the draft, I don't know why it was not before the draft, that Mettenberger's agent or he himself said, I want out. Do you think that's going to happen? Do you think what I just said is true, that he actually said that? What is his future in Nashville?
Well, I think he's going to be a guy that they're going to hang on to for now. I think he's, his agent sort of let the cat out of the bag that he wanted to be traded, but it wasn't Mettenberger himself who apparently said that. So I think what you get is with Zach Mettenberger, you get a guy who now is a quality backup, a guy who's still a developmental type of player, but a guy that you can hang on to. And if Marcus Mariota happens to get hurt, or if he falters and plays poorly, then you can always turn to Zach Mettenberger. And if Marcus Mariota pans out, then you've got a quality backup. And as you guys know, whenever you have a quarterback, an extra quarterback, so to speak, that's not necessarily a bad thing because there are always teams looking for quarterbacks. And if Mariota's a star 2 years from now, the Titans can always use Zach Mettenberger as a chip to deal with if to fill other needs if a quarterback needy team comes asking for it.
This segment of the Sports Show is sponsored by the Blake Street Tavern. 3 bars under one roof, 18,000 square feet of space for you to roam around in, 60 HD TVs so you can watch anything you want to watch. Blake Street Tavern is located just 1 block north of Coors Field. It has been named Denver's best sports bar 3 years in a row by Westward. Great sports bar food at Blake Street Tavern.